I called a lady fat. It is what it is. It's true. I know what you're thinking. Dude, you're a horrible guy. Hear me out. Before we get into it, welcome back, everybody, to the Random PM podcast. I hope you're having a great day. These episodes, they're starting to really do well. I'm getting some positive feedback. If you want to see the show grow or you have any ideas, leave a review, follow, comment. Just let me know. I added my Instagram now in the descriptions if you want to add me and just kind of talk to me about the show or whatever you can. But yeah, we're gonna have a guest coming on pretty soon that I'm excited about. But y'all ain't here for the intro. Y'all don't care about that. You want to hear about when I called a lady fat. And there's some more work stories. So when I turned 16, I got my first job. I kind of wish I would have waited to do it. I mean, it is what it is now, but I feel like I could have lived, been a normal kid for a little bit longer. But anyway, let me set the picture. So it was Mother's Day. I was working, and the boss came up and was like, "Hey, we're giving out free cupcakes to all the moms. And so all you have to do is say, hey, we're giving these out for Mother's Day. Would you like one?" And I was like, okay, seems easy enough. So this lady comes up to my register. Now, I am definitely not one to discriminate, okay? Like I said, I'm a certified bid back myself. So, of course, I'm not going to make fun of anybody. However, now, and again, the delivery could have been a little better, but you have to understand where I was coming from, okay? One, I was working a job I didn't like. And two, it really came from a place of kindness. But anyway, she showed up, and I looked at her, and I told her, I said, hey, you look like you want a cupcake. Now, I know, I know, that probably isn't the best thing to say to a woman, but I said it. And she looked at me, and she was like, what do you mean, does it look like I want a cupcake? Like, what do you mean? And I was like, you look like you want a cupcake. And she was like, oh, so you're calling me fat. Apparently, when you say you look like you want something or you look like something, people take offense to that. So she ended up getting the manager, and I ended up getting written up because this lady thought I was calling her fat. In my defense, she was a little pungy, okay? But I didn't care about that. That's not why I asked her the question. I asked her because I appreciate moms, and I would have gotten fired if I didn't do it. But that's not the only time I messed up at this job. I remember one time I went in, I wasn't feeling the best, and some dude came in and rang him up, and he seemed friendly. How you doing? Oh, you go to this school? Okay, my kid goes there too. Everything is seeming fine. Then all of a sudden he leaves, and I want to say a good 5 minutes later, I get a phone call and I pick it up and I'm like, hey, this is the barbecue restaurant. How can I help you? Blah, 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 blah. And he goes, yeah, so the kid at your register, he needs to be let go. And I'm thinking, okay, interesting. He goes, yeah, his pants were all the way down at the register. I want you to envision that for a second, or maybe don't. But basically, he was saying I was in my underwear, pants around my ankles at the register. He said that it was ghetto, which, by the way, okay, if I was here's the thing, I wasn't born with what do they call it, a dossier or bustier, something, the French word for butt. I wasn't born with it. So sometimes the pants can go a little low. Okay, but there was no way that my pants were at my ankles. It's not possible. Now, I did get written up for this, and that's the common theme you're going to see here is I get written up for stuff I didn't even do. And then another time, this lady, it was Thanksgiving, and she came in, and normally, sometimes if it was like a certain type of order, we would have them sign the receipt. So she was like, do you have a pen? And I didn't throw the pen at her. I kind of just tossed it. But she looked at me like I insulted her and her family lineage all because I tossed the pen at her. I didn't mean it. Customers these days are weak. I don't understand what's going on. They get offended with everything. Now, this last story, I got involved in a domestic dispute. I don't know how that happened, but basically, one of the, I guess, bosses or something had some beef with her boyfriend, I guess. I don't know, but he called up the restaurant and he was like, hey, I'm looking for this person. I was like, okay, let me put you on hold. I'll go look for him. And I guess I left him on hold and forgot. So then I guess the phone hung up or they hung up and then they call again. And now I don't like to use bad words, but he said, and I quote, "Put the bitch back on who hung up on me." And I'm thinking, "Whoa, whoa, like I didn't hang up on you. I just forgot about you." And that's what a lot of women tell me these days, two different things. And so I stay completely quiet because I'm like, what do I even do? I have no idea what to do. And then I actually on purpose hang up the phone. The phone rings again. And mind you, it's the same person calling. And he goes, "Hey, just know I'm coming up there. And when I find out who's not picking up that phone and getting who I need to get, I'm coming up there and I'm beating their ass." And now, obviously, I'm a little scared. I mean, I wasn't the strongest guy back then. I'm still not. So I was like, I know that's pick me activity, but I was like, "Ooh, okay, maybe I should be quiet." In the end, he never showed up, and the boss or whoever they were looking for, I found them and was like, "Hey, this is what's going on." And they apologized and they were like, "Hey, I'm sorry. Sometimes it can be a little much." I was like, "A little much?" He threatened to come up here and beat my ass, but it's okay. I left that job, and the way I left, it was awful. Okay. We were at the end of school, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to be able to work here anymore. I have to stay home, help mom out, all that stuff. So I told my favorite manager, I said, "Hey, I'm putting in my 2 weeks. Can I talk to you about it real quick?" And everything is fine. Well, apparently it was not fine. There was this other manager, again, I'm not going to say names. She made me in the middle of the restaurant. She said, boy, get over here." And she made me sit in the middle of the restaurant and write out a 2 weeks letter notice in front of everybody. Mind you, she's yelling, telling me it's not professional. Again, we're at a barbecue place. I don't know how professional you can get. But she was telling me, like, you need to write this. You need to put your manager under the bus. You need to do blah, 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 blah. And she was like literally roasting me in front of the customers. And so after that, I was like, yeah, I gotta go. I can't do this anymore. I'm dipping. Then I went to another job. This job wasn't actually as bad as I thought. There was only two issues that I had, or like two problem stories. One of them was I got yelled at over cheese. Okay, the guy was ordering his food, his burger, and he was like, "Hey, this is my wife. She wants this kind of cheese." And I was like, "Okay." And then I even yelled it to the cook. I was like, "Hey, this is the type of cheese she wants." He rings up, and I guess the cook wasn't listening or he didn't care. And he put the wrong kind of cheese on it. So then the dude, he goes, "Hey, boy." And I'm like, "Hey, boy, what is this, the 1830s or what, the 1930s?" But I digress. And he was like, "I told you she didn't want that kind of cheese on her burger." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm sorry." And he starts yelling and he goes, "You heard me. I told you my wife didn't want that cheese on her damn hamburger." And I'm like, "Okay, you're right. I mean, you heard me yelling, I didn't make it. But I mean, what do you want me to do about it?" And he was like, "You're lucky I don't come over that counter and beat your ass." You see a common theme here? I keep getting threatened to get my ass beat, even though I didn't do anything. And we had a coworker. This is the next story. We had a coworker. He was supposed to come in. He was supposed to relieve me. So he's sitting in the booth or whatever. And then all of a sudden, now I won't drop an F bomb on here, but basically, he takes the booth, or the booths weren't like secure to the floor. So he takes the booth and he shoves it really hard, or like the table. It was like two booths and the table in the middle, and the table didn't move. He took the table, pushed it, and yelled, "F this." And he walked out. Now, I'm not mad about what he got going on. I'm mad because he's my relief. I can't go home until he's ready to start working. He did all that because his girl broke up with him. Now, granted, I get love is hard. I mean, if you heard of my dating episode, I can't find love right now. But it's middle school. It's not, or whoa, it's not middle school, child labor. It was high school. High school relationships are never that deep. I might be saying something controversial here, but I think if you get married like right after high school, I don't think it's going to work. Now, that's not the case for everybody, and maybe that's just a little bit of jealousy coming out of me. But I think if you get married right after high school, 21, 22, I mean, do you really know if you want to spend the rest of your life with that person? I don't know. Who am I to tell you what to do with your life? But yeah, he caused a scene. He knocked over a drink, food, all because his girl broke up with him. I left that job. Then after that, I only had two more. I don't remember if I've told these stories before, but I'll just tell them again because, oh, voice crack. I'll tell them again. I worked one day at Luby's. Now, this story is going to be all about perspective. Some would say it was racist, like I do, or I did. And some would say, well, I mean, dude, if they don't speak the language, they don't speak it. Here's the thing. I was being interviewed for Luby's. I'm going to say their name. And he was like, hey, do you speak Spanish? And I told him, no, I don't. And he was like, oh, okay, that's fine. Then I leave the interview. They're like, hey, you got the job, come in early the next day. My first day wasn't open to close. That's when I kind of knew they were going to abuse me. I should have known by then. So I show up and everything, no training, nothing about the food. They take me in the back and they're like, put this on. And it wasn't like an undersized t-shirt. They're like, put this on. And then, oh, we're opening. Go for it. They only put me around people who only speak Spanish. Now, again, nothing wrong with that. But I told them, hey, I speak English. And so while they were talking to me, they would try to talk to me in Spanish. And I would talk to them in English and be like, I don't understand you. Now, granted, they probably didn't understand me. But what do you expect me to do in that scenario? And they treated me like I was the Black Plague. I would go on one side of the line and everybody would move to the other. Now, I don't know if they had like a coal or like a deep pact, but clearly I wasn't a part of it. So I actually quit. Like midday, I told the guy, I was like, hey, this isn't for me. Took my apron off and I left. And then my last fast food related job was at Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A, I have no hate against them. I feel like lately they've been falling off a little bit, but I have no hate against them. What I do have hate against is the fact that one, whoever was training me said I had the spelling level of a kindergartner. That one stung a little bit, not that he's wrong, but why would you even tell me that? And then two, they told me I didn't have the look of a Chick-fil-A team member. Now, I'm not trying to get canceled, so I'm not gonna, but if you weren't looking for me, why would you hire me? So not only did I get fired because okay, I'm not gonna say it, but y'all, everybody who's listening knows what I'm thinking. But yeah, I've had some pretty bad stories at work, but those are the only ones I can tell legally. And so with that being said, I'm gonna have to wrap it up here. I appreciate y'all for listening. Look, like I said, if you like the episodes, leave a review, leave a comment, leave a like. At 50, what did I say? Oh yeah, 50 followers or subs, we're gonna do a giveaway, Amazon, Big Lots, who knows? But yeah, we're gonna see what happens. That's all I have for y'all today. But y'all know the drill, man. Get with the program and stay random. Thank you so much for listening.